Honourable Trevor Mallard, there are several conversations going that are more than a dulcet tone, so if members wish to have those conversations, they might like to curtail themselves or go into the lobbies. Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought your description of the junior government was a bit unkind in that way. Mr. Chairman, come on, have a bit of humour.
The member is a long-standing. He knows better than to comment on the ruling of the chair. Honourable Trevor Mallard.
I do, Mr. Chairman. It's very rarely I come to the defence of a damsel from the other side, and that's what I get for it.
You're doing it again.
Mr. Chairman. Is she a good netball player? Is she? Oh well, the member would know. Yes, no, I better not make the next comment, or I get into very serious trouble. No, the chairman has no idea what I might have been going to say, so I certainly won't. Mr. Chairman, I want to make it clear that the Labor Party, this is the most obnoxious part of this bill. I think it's fair to say that as was indicated yesterday, there was the first part of the bill which we supported, the second part which we opposed, and this is the part which we very seriously oppose, because what is occurring, Mr. Chairman, is a premature killing off of the Charities Commission well in advance of the requirements for the review of the Charities Act. And the normal process, whenever there is good governance, is that you do the review, the government does the review before they take the decisions, rather than take the decisions and do the review after the fact, as in this particular case. There's, I think, an attempt by the Minister, and I don't know if it's a genuine one, or it's one which is just really in order to try and save face, to try and promote the independence of the Department of Internal Affairs in this matter. But I think all of us know that when there is a minister and a chief executive, it is very, very hard for there to be statutory independence as far as the decision making is concerned. And in this case, there's just massive suspicion in the sector about the objectives of the government in this abolition. As I've indicated, I think at the time of the second reading, no one is pretending that the Charities Commission has always done its job in a way which has been positive and lacking in bureaucracy. I think it is fair to say that, especially earlier in their time, they were too tight and were unreasonable. Again, I have related, not all members were in the House at the time, the experience that one of my colleagues had with them with regard to the non-registration of the Anglican Church as a charity, because of the lack of a wind-up clause in the constitution of the Anglican Church. Now, I think that that does get to the point of being unreasonably bureaucratic. Although, again, one of my more religious colleagues indicated that perhaps that sort of matter. Well, I think what we were talking about is whether or not there be other ways of intervening in order to indicate whether or not a wind-up clause was necessary for the Anglican Church or not. And people have a variety of beliefs in that area. And I might say the Prime Minister, who's been a Jew, a Christian, an agnostic, and an atheist, all of those things, when it has been convenient, Mr. Speaker, the member's criticising me after her colleague Simon Bridges brought my colleague's religious beliefs into the debate. Now the members opposite can't have it both ways. They can't have it both ways. Either they want members' religious beliefs left out of it, or they open it up and the Prime Minister, who has four positions on his religious beliefs, Mr Speaker, I didn't know you could have four positions on whether you had a religious belief or not. In fact, we could have the Prime Minister in charge of the Kama Sutra on religious beliefs, Mr Speaker. Getting back to the bill, and I think if there was ever a need for Mr Chairman,
Honourable Trevor
Mr Chairman, if there was ever a need for a wind-up clause for the Anglican Church, it would be if the Prime Minister joined it. If the Prime Minister joined it, I would want to wind up the Anglican Church if I was the Do they have archbishops in the Anglican Church? If I was the Archbishop, I'd want to wind it. So, Mr Speaker, the point that I'm making is that occasionally in the past. No, I'm happy, Mr Chairman. It's a robust debate. Mr Chairman, it's a robust debate, and if the members opposite disagree and want to feed me some lines, I'm happy for them to do it. Mr Speaker, I'm happy for them to do it, and I don't think it's your... Oh, well, Mr Chairman, I'm not telling you what your job... Well, Mr Chairman, don't coach them, please. Don't coach them. Let them make their own mistakes, Mr Chairman. Let them make their own mistakes. Going back to the disestablishment, there is a strong view that the legislative safeguards, both within the bill as it was reported back from the Select Committee, and I think I was just beginning to commend the Minister in charge of the bill for his attempt by way of his SOPs to this part to improve the bill. But, Mr Speaker, we don't think those attempts go far enough to preserve the independence. I'm certainly of the view, I mean, the Department of Internal Affairs, and I know that there are some very good officials who work at the moment and from time to time for the department. It is very much a department of what no one else wants. It is a department which has a set of functions which other departments don't really want. It's sort of the opposite to MED under Stephen Joyce, which grabs everything that might be important and might make a decision. But what is clear is with this review of the Charities Act or with this shift of the Charities Commission, there is yet another thing being added into the Department of Internal Affairs which will not be particularly useful, and we will therefore be working very hard in order to oppose this. I want to ask the Minister whether Clause 51, especially subclause A and B, are in fact consistent with previous legislation in this area. Is this a standard technical redundancy clause, or is it something which is different? The equivalent employment clause, again, I would like the Minister to tell the House whether or not that clause, especially D, subclause D of 2, whether in fact that the treatment of the period of service is in fact something which is the same as has been used in similar legislation in the past. And the other question is, because these people currently work for a Crown entity and are not public servants, whether that period counts as a period of public service even though it was in a Crown entity. Now, I know the Chair's nodding. I don't think he's going to sleep, but I think the Chair at least understands the difference and the importance of the difference as far as the conditions of employment are concerned, and I want to get an assurance, and I want to get an assurance both ways, both that the employees are not being advantaged as a result of this change, and I also want to make sure that they're not being disadvantaged as a result of what appears to be a change of conditions from being people who are state servants who work for a Crown entity to being public servants because they come in within the core of the state service. And I know that Dr. Coleman is someone who is well versed in the niceties of the if you like, the different borders and rings around the state sector and the concentric circles which we have. But the public service is important to New Zealanders. You go first and I'll come back.
Well, Dennis O'Rourke.